I still have feelings for my ex-wife. I, 28M, used to be married to an amazing woman, 24F. We divorced 2 years ago, and we were dating for 1 year, married for 3. She was and still is the love of my life, and our divorce is my biggest regret. My mother was a nightmare mother-in-law. I foolishly let her involve herself in our marriage and mistreat my ex-wife by constantly criticizing her. I never called her to complain about my ex or sided with her against my ex-wife, but I should have enforced strict boundaries with her as soon as I realized she would be a problem for us. I did go no contact with her twice during my ex-wife's miscarriages because I didn't want her to have added stress. However, during our second miscarriage, my mother found out by reading some texts off my sister's phone and went ballistic. She found out it was the second one from the texts as well. She showed up at our home, and instead of turning her away instantly, I took her into the living room and tried to explain things to her while my ex-wife, who was upstairs resting, was unaware of her being there. My mother pretended to calm down, but when I went into our backyard to bring the cats inside, she went upstairs and woke my ex-wife up. She screamed at her for ruining my relationship with her and made some horrible comments about her being barren. By the time I got upstairs, 5 minutes later, because the cats were not very happy with me bringing them inside, my ex-wife was in tears. I kicked my mother out immediately, but that was my ex-wife's final straw, and we split up a month later and agreed to remain friends. We acknowledged that we still had feelings for each other, but that this relationship wasn't beneficial to her anymore. We lived in the US, but my ex-wife's dad lives in the UK, so after our divorce, she went to spend some time with him and ended up getting employed by one of his friends. I was devastated by the divorce, and I immediately went no contact with my mother and put myself into therapy. Therapy helped me understand that my relationship with my mother wasn't healthy, and I learned some effective strategies to keep communication with her healthy, so I'm now low contact with her. We only speak during family events. My siblings have told me that she still doesn't see what she's done wrong, so I definitely won't be advancing beyond LC for the foreseeable future. I haven't moved on from my divorce, and I think I'm even more in love with my ex than I have been before. I haven't seen anyone new, and she's constantly on my mind. During the first 6 months of my ex-wife living in the UK, we didn't speak. However, on our wedding anniversary, she sent me a text that read, "Happy Un-Anniversary. Insert a nickname that she used to call me," followed by, "I thought we agreed to stay friends, loser." For the rest of her first year away, we texted each other every now and then, like on my birthday, her birthday, and my brother's birthday. For my brother's birthday, she sent his to my house, and I gave it to him for her. Before the MRAs get here, my brother is gay, and they have been friends since they were children. He set us up on our first date, so I don't want any crazy DMs. During her second year away, we fell into a more typical friendship, and I told her about the therapy I had after she asked me if I had cut the umbilical cord yet. She told me about 2 men that she had dated and about how both relationships ended. I wasn't weird about it, but it made me think about how much I missed her and how much I still loved her. My thoughts kept me up that night, and I couldn't stop hating myself for ruining things with her. I still have both of our wedding rings and her engagement ring. Due to recent world events, she hasn't been able to come visit anyone here in the US, but she's moving back in October. I was actually the first person she told about that. Everyone's pretty excited, and my brother is organizing a homecoming party for her, and I've been invited. It's probably going to be hosted at my house, our marital home, because I'm the only one in our circle who lives alone. However, my brother asked me if I'd hang out with her by myself at some point. I wasn't planning on asking her to, but now that he's brought it up, it's all I can think of. They are best friends, so part of me is thinking she might have put him up to it just like she did when she asked him to set us up together initially. I asked my sister for her input, but she said that I shouldn't ask her to meet up with me. I should wait for her to ask if she wants to. I think she might still have feelings for me, because when she was telling me about one of her breakups, she said, "None of the men over here can handle me like you can, but her humor is generally flirtatious, so I can't be sure. I would love an outside perspective on this. Would asking her out be the right thing to do? Thanks for reading." Update. Y'all have convinced me to ask her now instead of waiting for October. It's late in the UK right now, but I will call her tomorrow. Thanks for all of the encouragement. Edit 1. I wanted to clarify what I meant by LC since I know everyone has a different interpretation of it. The LC I have is only saying happy birthday to each other in the family group chat. We're never the first to say it to each other, and the conversation doesn't advance beyond that point. Whenever she comes up to me at family events, which isn't often anymore, she usually asks how I am and for updates on my life. I give her one-word answers and gray rock the rest. My therapist calls this method civil NC, which I think is more accurate. She freaked out about no contact when my ex-wife first left and regularly blew up my phone. LC has been more peaceful. I am aware this will change if my ex-wife and I get back together. I'll be working with my therapist to create a plan for every possibility. I plan on returning to NC after the phone call tomorrow, and I want to make it as safe and peaceful as possible. If a tiny bit of conversation is what it takes, I'll do it. Edit 2. I'm logging off now because this is making me anxious. In a good way, don't worry. Next time y'all will hear from me is after our conversation. Update. I asked if if she'd like to come out to dinner with me when she's back. She said yes. She actually asked me what took me so long to ask, LMAO. She said that if I hadn't asked her before the week she returned, then she would have asked me out. So thank you guys so much for pushing me to call her. I feel like making the first move is more meaningful since I was the one who ruined our marriage. I'm literally on cloud 11 right now. We're going to take it slow this time. We got engaged after 6 months the first time around, LMAO. I'm also going to be picking her up from the airport. Do I bring her flowers? I also spoke to her about my mom. She was aware of the civil NC arrangement we had, and she said she didn't mind if I kept it, but I don't want to, and I made that clear. I only tolerate my mom's presence for my siblings and their children at events, but I am going to stop attending and celebrate important things with them at another time. I'm hoping my nieces and nephews harass my siblings enough about me being missing from their birthday parties that my siblings uninvite my mom, El Mao. I know I'm their favorite uncle. I apologized to her immensely, and she said she'd hang up if I apologized anymore, so I had to quit. I know this is just the beginning, and more apologies will definitely follow once we start to discuss our failed marriage, so I'm not trying to max out her apology acceptance capacity. She's also agreed to start couples counseling with me once she gets back. We also discussed the possibility of, if we do get married again, us moving to the UK. She said that she wants to stay in the town I'm currently in for the next few years, as she's missed her family and friends here a lot. Her maternal family is here, her paternal family is in the UK, but she said returning to the UK wasn't off the table completely, and I told her I'd follow her in a heartbeat. She called me a nerd, El Mao. Our conversation lasted 2 hours, and she had to go because she's taking her younger siblings out. She also said she had been asking my brother to hint to me that she wanted me back, so I was right about what he was doing. I saw a comment earlier saying that I should have just asked my brother to spill it out properly, and I wish I could convey how insanely annoying he is to you all. I'd have to hold him hostage to get him to say anything. I know we have so much more to discuss in the month before she returns, and I'm making a priority list. Psycho Mom is at the top. I told my ex I wanted to sell the house so my mom won't have my address, and I swear she wanted to reach through the screen and choke me. She loves the house, and she said I can't list it anywhere or speak to a real estate agent before she has the chance to look around again, and I'm happy to oblige my queen. I also saw some comments saying that I shouldn't send my mom that email explaining my boundaries and consequences for her breaking them. IDK if it was here or on RR just no mill, and since my ex-wife doesn't want to leave this town for the near future, and given how small the town is, it's likely for my mother to run into us together and separately. I run into my mom at least once a week, and we ignore each other. I would hope she would have the decency not to say anything, but she can't be trusted. I will be taking legal action if she does break our boundaries. Advice on this is appreciated. My current plan is to attempt total no contact in the month before my ex-wife returns. There are 4 family birthdays approaching, so it'll be perfect. My absence at all 4 events will definitely be noticed by her, and I can see her reaction to it. I might also ask my brother and sister to sit her down and tell her not to bother me, and that I've decided to go total no contact, but I'd like to know if that's a good idea. I know some of you are mad at civil no contact, but it's kept the peace I've needed for the past 2 years. However, I know everything will be different when my ex-wife is back. Thank you all so much. You're all invited to our second wedding. Edit 3. She found this post off Bestredditor Updates LMAO. She called me a complete nerd. She wants me to thank you all for convincing me to call her instead of waiting for October, and she told me to call her my girlfriend instead of ex-wife, so that's what I'll be using from now on. Edit 4. I won't be making an update post tomorrow. This sub only allows 1 update, and I'd rather save it for when my girlfriend is back. Also, I'm fully aware that my mom is a racist. By closet racist, I meant someone who's kept it hidden effectively for so long. She's also just a fucking weirdo in general, so there are multiple reasons why she doesn't like my girlfriend and my brother's boyfriend other than race. She hates my girlfriend because of her messed up family background and for the miscarriages, in addition to race, and she hates my brother's boyfriend for being into motorbikes and smoking the green. She's incredibly absurd, so at the beginning I wasn't sure if it was racism or not, but now it's pretty obvious. My sister's boyfriend is also black. He's my girlfriend's cousin. We set them up LMAO, but he refuses to meet my mom because of how my girlfriend was treated. She's never commented on their relationship. New post. Advice needed on staying no contact with just no mother. I doubt y'all are still lurking here, but I thought I'd give a mini update. After spending some time on R Just No Mill and talking with my therapist, I've decided the best course of action for re-establishing total NC is having a lawyer contact my mother. I've reached out to a good lawyer today, and we're going to start drafting a letter to send to her. Some stuff I've seen on JNM has worried me, so I've also begun gathering evidence needed for a restraining order. I don't know how well old texts and videos will work, but it's worth a shot. My girlfriend thinks I'm being too militant LMAO. I think her time away has made her forget the worst of it, but she appreciates that I want to protect her. Judging by some of the comments, I think some of y'all have assumed we're moving in together, but we aren't. My mother does not know the address of where my girlfriend will be living. New post. I got a lawyer to contact my toxic mother. Success. I posted on here a while ago, asking for advice on keeping my mother away as my ex-wife, now girlfriend, is returning to the town we live in. I'll be referring to her as my girlfriend for the rest of the post. I decided the best course of action was to have a lawyer contact her. The lawyer sent her a simple letter explaining that he was a lawyer sent to tell her to stay away from me and that I would take legal action if she didn't. The lawyer said he could get into trouble if he didn't give a reason as to why he was sending it, so it briefly mentioned that I had gotten into a romantic relationship and I didn't want her involved because of what she did before. It didn't say that I had gotten back with my ex-wife. It started a whole fight with my parents and older siblings, and my dad actually turned up at my house to argue with me. He went on and on about how hurt my mother had been for the 2 years that I've been almost NC with her. No mention of what she had done to me and my girlfriend. I like my dad, but he's a complete pushover. He does whatever my mother wants. I didn't tell him that I had gotten back with my girlfriend, but I told him flatly that my mother's insane behavior during my marriage meant that I wanted nothing to do with her now. He went with the classic, she's your mother and she loves you and you're really hurting her argument, but I didn't back down. I said that because the town we live in is so small and I already run into her weekly. There's an extremely high chance that I'd encounter her while I'm with my girlfriend, and I didn't want her to go batshit insane, so getting a lawyer to warn her was the best course of action. I told him that the ball was in her court. If she continued to respect my NC, then this wouldn't have to go further, and we could all live peaceful lives. My dad eventually ended up agreeing with me, and after I told him to never turn up unannounced again, he left and promised to explain this all to my mother, essentially telling her that if she behaved, I wouldn't sue. My older sisters have all called me to call me every bad name in the book, but I sent them all the same text telling them to mind their own business, and the harassment stopped. It's been a day since all that happened, and my father said my mother agreed to leave me alone. I know I can't take her word for it, but it's a start, as last time I tried to establish NC, she went insane. I've spoken to a realtor to get my house on the market sometime mid-October. I want to sell it ASAP, but my girlfriend wants to have a look around before I do, so that's why I'm waiting. I'll be moving to a neighboring town, so I'll still be able to keep my job and see my friends and decent family. I won't be attending family events where my mother is present anymore. It's going to be sad missing my nieces and nephews' birthdays, but I'll just swing by at a different time to give them their presents. So far, so good. It's been a tentative success. Still, a month remains before my girlfriend returns, so I have time to address any issues that might arise. In my last post, some people assumed that my girlfriend would be moving in with me, but that's not the case. My mother doesn't know the address where she'll be staying. Here's to more successes. Update. Hello everyone. Sorry for keeping you all waiting. I tried to post on the relationship advice subreddit, but it wouldn't upload. My last post was incredibly long, so this one will definitely be shorter and sweeter. My girlfriend has been back for a week today, and it's been the best week of my life. I picked her up from the airport last Saturday. I brought her a gigantic daffodil bouquet, and we both cried, Lamau. Seeing and hearing her again in person was so surreal because I'm accustomed to speaking to her over video calls. Her accent has gotten more British now, and it's so cute. The drive back to our town was challenging because I had to keep my eyes on the road, but I wanted to gaze at her the entire time. We had the homecoming party at my place, our old marital home, on Sunday, and it was amazing. It felt just like the old times when we were still married and hosted our friends. She stayed to help me clean up with my brother and, unfortunately, her older brother too, who does not like me. She wanted to come over and have a look at my house before I put it on the market, and we did that on Tuesday. It was extremely emotional, and we both ended up crying, especially when we got to the master bedroom. When she left, I moved my things into another bedroom and essentially locked up our old shared bedroom and forgot about it. I went in about once a month to clean it, but other than that, it remained locked. Our old rings, a few things she had left behind, and some items that were too painful for me to look at were in there, like framed photos we had together. She ended up taking her old wedding and engagement rings to wear on a necklace, which was truly touching, considering I thought she wanted to completely forget our previous relationship and start anew. I'm glad to know that she looks back on our past together fondly, despite it being a hot mess. Yes, if we do get married again, I will definitely be buying new rings. We've hired a counselor to help us work through our relationship, and our first appointment is next week, so wish us luck. I have an appointment to get the house valued next week too, so I can sell it as soon as possible. My girlfriend is currently staying with a family member, and she's apartment hunting, so we also have some appointments next week to look at places for her. The coming week is pretty full for us. We won't be living together for a while, so we can take this slower than last time. Last time, we got engaged after 6 months and married 6 months later. During the week she's been back, we've been together for a few hours, except when I'm working, every single day apart from Wednesday. I know some of you guys might be wondering about my mother, and I have good news about her. We live in a small town, so it was inevitable that my girlfriend would have run into my mother during her first week back. She ran into her on Wednesday, and my mother did not do anything. My girlfriend was out with her younger sister at Starbucks, and my mother noticed my girlfriend, then turned around and got on with whatever she was doing like a normal person. I will never be open to re-establishing communication with my mother, but it seems like she's learned her lesson after 2 years of very limited contact. Unfortunately, my lawyer said I probably wouldn't get a restraining order against my mother, so I am seriously hoping she continues to be good. According to my siblings and father, she didn't even tell them she had seen my girlfriend. I have to clarify here that she does not know we are back together, and I'm hoping to move to the next town over to keep it that way. Once again, thank you all for your support and encouragement. I will be eternally grateful that you convinced me to ask her out back then instead of waiting until now, and she wants me to thank you all too. You are awesome. In reply to a comment asking for an update, we moved in together. My girlfriend couldn't find an apartment she liked, so we decided to live together again. Other than that, no more developments.